Hmm. You guys see the same thing as my screen, it just says events in the top corner and it's blank, right? Okay. Well, then let's try it this way. Instead of, do me a favor, click that link and see if it looks any different to you. If you can see an orange balloon when it loads, then that means it's working. If you can't see an orange balloon when it loads, let me know. And do you see a balloon kind of bouncing back and forth? Do you see anything that's orange? Actually, try it now. You see an orange balloon. I just changed something. Can you describe what you are seeing? Perfect. All right, now are you guys hearing me twice? All right, I'm going to turn off my microphone on Blackboard. Can you still hear me? Okay, Darlene, I think you're seeing the right thing. Do you see fingers? I know there's a slight delay between my recording and what you guys see. Okay. And then Darlene, do you see the fingers? Awesome. Okay, good. All right, so I know there's a slight delay when it comes to what you guys are seeing and when I'm actually saying it. So I'm gonna try my best to pause for a long time in between things. But there are 3 parts to this lab. The first part is honestly, the first 2 parts, you're gonna need 2 balloons blown up like this. Okay, so this is a balloon. And then what I did, I put a C on the top. And this is gonna be the balloon that I put in the freezer to make it cold. And then I have a second balloon with an H on the top, and this is the one that I'm going to put in a large bowl with some warm water to warm it up. Okay, but before you do that, you have to measure the circumference of the balloon now. And that's what this little marking is for, so that I always measure the same spot. How I did that was I took my string-like thing, which in my case is a headphone cord, and I'm just going to trace it along those black dots, those black lines, right? So I know that it's all the way around, it's this long. Then when I take it off the balloon, I can use my brand new ruler here to measure it. Okay, so a couple of things. If it goes past your ruler like it does for me right now, what you do is figure out where the first foot is, then put your finger at the end of the foot, and then pull that back up to the front. So mine ended up being 1 foot, 6 point, I guess 6 7/16 inches. Okay, or you can use centimeters. Centimeters are a little bit easier because you can just say like 0.2. It's up to you which measurement you use. Whatever you use, make sure you stick to the same kind the whole time. All right, so I'm gonna do that with the second balloon, just so you guys can see, because this is stuff you'll want to do when you have your balloons handy. Oh, I'm getting caught on my chair. Try to do it as close as possible to the widest point of the balloon, but again, that black line is going to make it so that you measure in the same spot afterwards. So I have my balloon wrapped, and I'm going to grab my Sharpie marker and just go around and put marks where I have the cord. Okay, and then here where they meet, that's the measurements that I need to take. Sorry about the noises. So, as far as getting the measurement down, does it make sense? I have a feeling it is my delay why you're not responding, just in case it's not. Okay. All right. So that's parts 1 and 2. Once you have your initial measurements, you're going to take the H balloon and you're going to put it in hot water. Okay, and you need to let it sit for a good 20 to 30 minutes so that the air inside the balloon can get to the same temperature as the water. Oh, and I guess one thing I need to add to your list, you should have one of these in your kit, but a thermometer. That way at the end you can take the temperature of the water, and you're going to assume that the temperature of the water is the same temperature as the air inside the balloon. And then same thing with the cold one. So you can get these going at the exact same time, and then while you're waiting for their temperatures to adjust, you can move on to part 3. But the cold one, you're just gonna, find some room in the freezer where you can shove it in. Careful about ice shards possibly popping it. But again, leave it in there for 20, 30 minutes. When you're done, take the temperature of the freezer, and we're gonna assume that's the same temperature on the inside of the balloon. So that's parts 1 and 2. Part 3, and I'm gonna grab my lab manual real quick. I apologize for not bringing this up earlier, but these instructions are in your lab manual. It's on page 25, or the gas law experiment. Part 3 is called gas given off by a reaction. All right, and this is where you're going to need 3 balloons, 1, 2, and 3. And then you'll need either antacid pills like Tums, or you can use baking soda And the key is you just want to increase the amount of either the baking soda or the antacid pills in each balloon and leave your vinegar amount the same. All right, so I have my 3 balloons. My handwriting labeling is kind of awful here, but I have 1, 2, and 3. And then this is where a funnel, or you can just roll up a piece of paper like I did here, comes in handy because this is going to help you get the powder inside the balloon. If you are using antacid tablets, you'll use this is the mortar and pestle. You just put the tablets in there and kind of spin this around until it becomes a powder. If you have baking soda at home, like I do, it'll already be a powder, like this. Okay, so what I'm doing, since I have baking soda, where did I set my measuring spoon down over here? What I'm doing is I have a 1/8 teaspoon. If the smallest one you have is a 1/4 teaspoon, that should work fine too. But I just don't want to get too much of a reaction going on. But in my balloon labeled 1, I'm going to put 1/8 teaspoon of baking soda in it. So this is where my little funnel hack here comes in handy. So I just want to make sure I'm tapping it to make sure it's all down at the bottom. And then I can take the piece of paper out. And then I'm going to set up my other 2 balloons before I move on. So in the one labeled 2, I'm going to put 2 scoops. I'm trying not to spill. Baking soda kind of likes to stick to plastic though. There's my 2. Again, tap it, make sure it all fell off the paper. And then I'm going to get my paper out of here maybe. There we go. And last one in number 3, 3 scoops. Okay, if you're using antacid tablets, the instructions tell you to go 2, 4, 6. The chemical reaction that's happening is virtually the same thing as baking soda. It's just in the antacid tablets, you have less of the pure substance. There's other things mixed into it to get flavor to it that won't actually react. So you need a little bit more of the tablet than you do the baking soda. All right, so now that these are filled, do you guys have any questions about part 3 of the lab so far? All right. So the next part is we're going to add vinegar. That's where you want your graduated cylinder. This is in your lab kits. All right. You have 3 of them, and I believe they're all 25 milliliters. We don't need 25 milliliters. I'm just going to use 10. And I'm going to fill it with just 10 milliliters of distilled white vinegar. You don't want to use anything like red wine vinegar or something like that because 1, it's a lot more expensive, and 2, it has other stuff in there that would actually make it react less. So this is, if you don't have any on hand, I got this for $1, and it's way more than I need for this experiment. So I'm going to pour that up to the 10 mark. Try not to spill. If you go a little bit over or a little bit under, that's okay. You just don't want to all of a sudden use like 20 milliliters instead of 10. So this is where things need to move a little bit quickly. When I pour this in here, it's going to start reacting right away. So I want to try to pour it quickly and then cap off and tie off my balloon as fast as I can so that I don't lose as much gas. So got to do it carefully and quickly because you also don't want to spill it all over the place, just in case I end up doing that. But I'm going to pour it in. Ooh, and try not to actually spill over the top. So you can see it gets going really quickly. And I'm probably going to have to try this again because I lost a lot of my stuff there. But you'll see it starts to fill up with gas. I'm just trying to get this knotted. So definitely this will be the trickiest part. If it ends up all turning out the same, like you make the same mistake as far as spilling stuff each time, you'll probably just cause a systematic error that doesn't really make a difference. But if you spill one and not the other ones, try redoing the one you spilled. Oh no, my 3 came off. Apparently, permanent marker does not stand up to vinegar. But what you're gonna do here, after it's finished, shake it up, make sure you don't get any more gas forming. Once you have it finished, you're gonna measure the circumference of this balloon, okay? That'll be the same procedure as before. You take your string-like thing, which I put down right here, wrap it around the widest point, and then pinch where you know the 2 ends meet, and then this is the length that you need to measure. Okay? Then you'll repeat that for the other 2 balloons. So definitely something, it's gonna start reacting right away. So trying to think if there's any other way I could get things in there without the reaction starting. I don't know if this will work, and you may not have this around anyway, but I'm gonna see if I can cut off the baking soda and still get the vinegar in, and then tie it before I release things. If this works, this is gonna be awesome. If it doesn't, then it's probably gonna be more trial and error on your end. So, vinegar. All right, so I have this clip on here trying to prevent the vinegar from getting to the baking soda immediately. We'll see if this works. So far, so good. It's starting, but really, really slowly compared to last time. I just have to figure out how to get it tied. I am awful at tying balloons. So if you have someone in your family who's actually really good at tying balloons, see if they can help you. Or if you're good at it, then this will be much easier. No, it's just starting too quickly. I hope I don't pop this. Okay, I'm just gonna hold it shut and release. So you can see last time, since this one's getting bigger than my first one, my whole spilling issue actually made it so I lost gas. So I would have to go back and try the number 3 one again without making my mistake. Because when you have even less than number 1, but it creates more air, that's a sign that something went wrong. So if you do see that happening, like if 1 makes the most air, maybe try the other 2 again, or for some reason 2 makes less than 1, but more than 3 or something, try those again. So it may actually just be easier not to tie it off, but just to twist it and hold it, and then maybe have someone help you wrap the cord around the balloon to measure. Okay, so that's the end of this. So when this finishes on your end, go ahead and let me know.